Yay.
That was great. Being a new dad, I'm very excited by this, so I think it's going to be amazing. So Fellow Fathers seems to be primarily a dartboard game combined with a pack of cards and a series of questions. The average dartboard purchased on Amazon, which I looked up, is about $38.95. And Amazon is one of Fellow Fathers, the place where you hope to one day sell it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you justify the $150 price tag for the board and card set, especially when I can purchase the board and card pack separately on your website for $65?
Yes. So you can purchase the card set and the dartboard separately, but what you don't get from the separate purchasing is the what we're calling the game board. So the game board includes a scorekeeper with chalkboard background and a place to hold the cards in play. Mm-hmm. And we also see this as a functional piece of artwork that you can hang on your wall and display and be proud of. Right. One thing that we found with prototyping was that with just the dartboard, darts go flying everywhere and you can really mess up your walls. So we wanted to provide a little safety net for that, and that's what the backboard.
Great. For the launch, you mentioned that you want all dads to be able to use your product, but Fellow Fathers' first product will be a game. What other products have you considered?
A lot. So originally we were thinking about having a product and an activity that would allow dads and their kids to hang out with their fellow fathers. And we would love for the next product to encompass this idea. We're throwing around a bunch of ideas for activities, including music lessons, hairstyling 101, pancake art competitions, stroller track and field, and story time improv. So for each of these activities, we think that there's a really interesting opportunity for a product that allows for conversation.
Great. I mean, based on your imagery, it seems that the track and field one might be a hit.
Yeah.
Are there products that address different levels of comfort regarding participation, i.e. not having to answer a series of questions that may make people feel uncomfortable?
Yeah. Love to speak to this a little more because we think that at the heart of Fellow Father is generating these conversations that bring up tough topics. Parenting is never an easy thing. It's a very rich subject matter. And we understand that it's very emotional. So we want to create environments where dads feel at the most comfortable to express themselves. And I think at the core of this, it's providing an environment and an activity that they enjoy and feel comfortable in, and surrounding themselves with dads that they trust and can share.
Great. Do you think that the initial product launch, I saw that you are going to make some cards available where you can kind of create your own questions. Mm-hmm. Do you think those would also be included with the product launch to be able to kind of modify how the game is played and maybe address comfort level and things of that nature?
Yeah, definitely. I love the idea of keeping the questions open to dads because we can't think of every question possible. Right. So allowing them to come up with their own and customize it for themselves generates exponential conversation options.
And will you have a way to kind of, I guess, gather additional questions in the future?
Yeah, I think at the events that we're sponsoring and the one that I showed with the rendering, the idea there is that we can record the conversations and create a body of answers to these questions and a body of new questions.
Great. You mentioned that phase 1 will begin with a Kickstarter campaign, as some ventures have today. You estimate that Fellow Fathers needs, $35,000
Yes.
to begin manufacturing? And that's 500 card sets and 500 game sets. The failure rate for non-featured products on Kickstarter is approximately 70%, which is a little bit scary. But most successfully funded projects raise less than $10,000 on Kickstarter. So if a Kickstarter project fails and no money is collected from backers, which is what happens on Kickstarter, what contingency plans have you prepared?
Well, our contingency plan is to not fail, but beyond, specifically, we know what we need to do to get the $35,000. We need to have 235 dads pre-order their the dartboard sets,
Right.
essentially. And without doing much so far, we already have 20 dads on board. So we're planning on reaching out to all different dad groups, meetups that are already happening, blogs that where dads are already talking, and use Kickstarter as a way to build the audience and make sure that we have the dads and the need for this product before we go any further. So
Yeah. So you're already starting to build the following that you need
Yeah.
to make it successful, which is great. This is back to the Kickstarter thing, so I
Bring it.
apologize. But if the Kickstarter campaign fails, how will you address and minimize any negative repercussions to the brand?
So if we don't get our backing, we have gathered emails of dads who are interested, and we will be able to see if there's more people who have backed just the cards or more people who are interested in getting the dartboard. That will provide us with valuable information
And you can modify what you're going out with first versus the large dartboards. Great. And who do you see as what is the main risk that you can see?
Our main risk throughout this entire process, and what I had touched on earlier, is that this is a very emotional subject matter, and the absolute worst thing that we could do is offend dads by this and not achieve what we're trying to do, which is celebrate them and allow them to flourish in their caregiving.
Yeah. And do you see any sort of direct competition to what you're doing?
No, we actually have pivoted to be focused on providing events specific to dads. There are already meetups and there are already blogs where there's community happening digitally, but there's nobody providing specific activities.
Right. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank
I love
you.
it. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.